easy go.
Yo, what is going on, you guys? Orion Tech Tips here, back at it with another video. In this video, we will be talking about 5 best pre-builts that money can buy. Now, I want to first say that if you know how to build a computer, I would recommend doing that because all of these computers are more expensive to assemble yourself. They're more expensive to buy pre-built than to assemble them yourself. Okay, so, let's get started. So at 5th place, we have the, Skytech, gaming PC desktop, I guess is what it says. Inside this computer, we have the Ryzen 5 1600, that is 6 cores, 12 threads, 3.2 gigahertz, and paired with the RTX 2060, a 500 gigabytes NVMe SSD, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 Ram. 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. And I have my phone on. I'm sorry. Yeah, so 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. And yeah, that is the core specs of this computer. It is running, I guess, Windows 10. 64-bit as expected. Yeah, it doesn't say what power supply it has. I'm looking for it right now, but yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the pros of this computer. Okay. So, all the parts used inside of this computer, you can buy. You could just buy at the store. So that means that it's very easy to just like replace a part when you want to. But I will start with, that is what I really like about the system. However, one con, I have one pro, that was the pro, and then I have 2 cons. One is this computer, you can save over $100 if you build it yourself. And the other one is that this computer only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and to properly play a AAA title such as Battlefield 5 or I guess anything really, you want 16 gigabytes of RAM. And for esports, yes, this is fine, but it has an RTX 2060. That is a fairly powerful card, and to only pair it with 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's just not a good decision. So if you decide that, okay, I do not want to build this myself, I want to buy it, I would highly recommend, unless you're just looking to play titles such as like CSGO and League of Legends, I would highly recommend, well actually, if you want to do that, you don't even have to buy an RTX 2060 or Ryzen 5 1600, because that's just overkill. But the 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's just not okay for a system like that. So those are my opinions. Okay, so in 4th place, we have the CUK Micro Gaming Desktop. And this PC, it goes for $550. I will link all these. The last PC went for $850. I will link all these in the description. Okay, so this has a Ryzen 3 2200G Vega 8 graphics. And what I really like about this computer, my favorite thing, is it has 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. Not only that, it is running at 3000 megahertz. which is very, very nice. It has a 256 gigabyte NVMe SSD. It has a 430 watt power supply, 80 plus bronze certified, which is good. Yeah, and those are the core specs. So again, I will start with the pros. First, being that this computer has, this computer has, you can buy all these parts just retail. And yes, so that again makes it really easy to buy, just to swap apart easily. And well, I want to go out, and then one con is, well, I'm not even sure this is a con because it's so easy to work around it. So this pre-built out of the box, so this is, sorry, $450. $450 for the system. Okay, so at this price range, we get a 4-core, 4-thread, that's an APU Vega 8 graphics, slightly behind the GT 1030, which is still really good. You get 16 gigabytes of high-speed RAM and an SSD with a fully upgradable computer. That is very good. Like, try to go like a CyberPower PC or an iBuyPower PC, it's not going to be this good. So, no OS, you can easily install that for free, and if you want a key that does not show the watermark, that would be about $7 on eBay, so really, really cheap. I will link, if I remember, I will try to link that below. And, you know, this all around is a really good computer for $450. Yes, if I were to build one for $450, I would have a true graphics card. But, you know, pre-built, this is a very, very good computer. Okay, at number 3, now this is definitely the cheapest computer on our list. At $340. That is a very cheap computer. However, there is some, well, quite a few compromises to get a pre-built computer at this price. But I thought some of you guys still might be curious what is like the cheapest that you can get. So yeah, I will be talking about this. So this is the HP Pavilion desktop computer with a Ryzen 3 2200G. It has a 2200G at this price range, which is why I decided to include it, because I just thought that is a really good processor at this price range. Okay, so it has 4 GB of RAM and a 1 TB hard drive. So I have quite a few cons with this computer. I would say this, like, with 4 GB of RAM, this computer, besides like checking your email and watching Netflix, it's not usable whatsoever. So I would highly recommend you upgrade to 8, so then you can actually have more than just a few Chrome tabs open, as well as you could even, like, well, do some very, very light gaming. Another thing I want to talk about is you can only install 8 GB. You only, once you install 6, the APU itself takes up 2 GB because it needs VRAM. So yeah, so imagine you buy, so if you do not decide to do 8 GB of RAM upgrade, you buy this computer, the APU will take up 2, and then you'll just have 2 GB of system RAM left for yourself. And that is not going to be a smooth experience. And then the 1 TB hard drive, that's not a big deal, but it's still, like, it's just slow. And I don't like that. So, you know, I just would not recommend this computer I did have it on my list, so because of that APU at this price range, I think that is a very good deal. So the Pro is, you get the 2200G at only $340. The cons are, you only get 4 gigabytes of RAM, you get a mechanical hard drive, not an SSD, and the looks of it, and you only get the HP. The parts are not upgradable. Besides a few things, you can't, like, this thing only has a 180 watt power supply. So yeah, yeah. Again, it's linked if you want to check it out. So then, yeah, the power supply, and what's another con? I guess the looks I already said, but yeah, just a lot of cons. But if you do have a super low budget and you just want to, like, be browsing the web and stuff, with this computer, assuming you buy 8 gigabytes of RAM, it's a pretty good deal if you can get past the looks. Okay, at second place, we have another HP Pavilion desktop. This has a Ryzen 5 2400G, so that's 4 cores, 8 threads, really good. You get 8 gigabytes of DDR4 Ram, and you get a 1 terabyte mechanical hard drive on top of a 128 gigabyte SSD. A hard drive and SSD combo, those are amazing, because you can store all, like, your bulk storage and stuff, things you don't use as much, on your, like, big mechanical drive, and then, like, your small things, well, Windows I'd highly recommend, and, like, editing software, Chrome, on your SSD. This also is an RX 580 4 gigabyte GPU, and yeah, really, yeah. So the pros is definitely the specs of this computer. The looks, it looks really good as well. In my opinion, that is. The other one on the list looked really bad. Yeah. So yeah, the looks of this computer, the specs, and yeah, 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'd say upgrade that to 16. I will link the RAM kit in the description. So this computer is $632. So for that price, yeah, I'd highly recommend this computer, because really, yeah, if for a pre-built, it's really good. Another thing is, since, yes, this is an HP Pavilion, the parts they use are their own HP parts, meaning it is not upgradable, unfortunately. This has a 400 watt power supply, so yeah, at a RX 580, that's a 185 watt card, if I remember right. So yeah, that is a problem. But if you're out of the box, if you're not, like, looking to, like, swap stuff, out of the box, it's a really good computer. Okay, so the parts, I guess, at the first one I mentioned, and the first two I mentioned on this list, those ones are upgradable. Okay, at first place, now this is a deal. Now, all the other computers on the list, they were cheaper to build, some really significantly than others. But this one, there is, at the time recording this, there is a $7 difference building or buying, and at that price, it really does not make a difference. So this is the Dell Inspiron gaming desktop. It has a AMD Ryzen, this is $700, that is an AMD Ryzen 2700, that is 8 cores, 16 threads, that is very fast. Well, for video editing, you can do video editing, you can do streaming, and this also has 16 gigabytes of RAM, which for $700, like the $850 computer did not have that. Granted, it had a more powerful video card. This was an RX 580, 4GB GPU, which is still fine at 1080p. At 1440p, I wouldn't recommend this build, but you know, at 1080p, it's good. This has a 1TB hard drive, no SSD. Yeah, so I really like the looks of this PC a lot, and yeah, the processor is 16GB of RAM. That is a really good combo. You can even do streaming, since that is such a powerful 4K video editing. You can do streaming on Twitch. Yeah, it's just such a powerful processor. Oh my god. Yeah, so my main complaint is this does not have an SSD. I will link an SSD in the description. If you want to pick one up, I would highly recommend it. You would have to reinstall Windows on the SSD. That's the only thing, but really easy. There's a ton of tutorials on YouTube. I've done it myself a few times. When I have a hard drive, and then I buy an SSD, and then I just reinstall Windows. No big deal. And yeah, this. Well, actually, no. Another thing, I was like, so yeah, that's it. But no, another thing about this computer is it does use Dell's own parts, such as the motherboard, its own power supply. So yeah, you will have a hard time, like, say if you want to swap the case, upgrade the motherboard. Those are going to be unfortunately that is not going to be possible with this case. However, well, with the computer, not just the case. However, the 460 watt power supply is decent, that it already includes. Yeah, you can upgrade the RAM to 32 if you want to, and you can upgrade the GPU if it fits. However, this isn't the biggest case in the world. So yeah, overall, this definitely takes first place. Now, I'm just going to stop rambling and say this is the deal. I also really like the $450 computer, because if, say, down the line, you have, like, an extra $150, $200, you can just buy a video card and suddenly you have a super powerful gaming computer with that processor and RAM. So yeah, anyway, I want to give it to the fourth and the first computer, because those are some super good deals. But you know, 1 to 5 really good computers, and you know, that's it. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here. Remember to like, subscribe. I don't want this to get too long. Anyway, peace out.